Hello there, everybody. And today, for my comic book review, I'm going to be doing Batman The Long Halloween. So, I reviewed the movie a couple of years back. It's based off the Tomorrowverse series of DC movies. And that movie was adapted from this comic book, written by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sales. And I gotta say, this is easily one of the best Batman comics I've ever read. I've always wanted to read this comic, but I could never find it. I did find it at some stores, but they were expensive, so I rented it at the library. And this book does not disappoint. It's literally about Batman going up against the holiday killer who kills people specifically on holidays. And this book is definitely a lot different from the movie. Honestly, I do want to rewatch The Long Halloween, even though I've watched it a bunch of times. But from watching the movie and reading this book, I can just tell there's a lot of differences. But there are some similarity things as well. But the main thing that goes on is, this is an early years Batman. This is part of, I think the New Earth after Crisis on Infinite Earths at the time of the DC timeline. So I'm guessing this takes place Batman's second year or third year as the Caped Crusader. He's got no Robin yet at all. He's solo. But he mainly teams up with Harvey Dent, the district attorney, we all know, and Jim Gordon, who apparently is the captain, not commissioner yet. But the main thing that goes on throughout the story is the holiday killer is killing various members of the Falcone family. And we don't know who it is. But when we do see each of them get murdered brutally, it all shifts to black and white pages, and it's very graphic. Not too graphic as other violent comic books, but you definitely feel the darkness of these deaths. One's killed in the bathtub, an entire group is murdered on Thanksgiving. I think one of them gets shot on Christmas. But the main thing that goes on is we also see the Joker, who wants to kill Holiday because he doesn't want him to take over Gotham in the chaos. He wants to be the top dominant one. But this is where Batman does show up. But in the movie, he ends up going to the Falcone party on New Year's on their yacht. But in this book, he's just taking down the Joker, tracking him down. But we also see Catwoman show up, who's got a purple costume and a tail, and we get a much short chase between the two. But in the movie, it's a longer chase, which I liked. But we also hear about Harvey Dent's issues with Gilda Dent. We see that in the movie, but it's hinted at in the book. So yeah, I'm comparing the stories a lot. That's what I've been doing throughout my comic book reviews. Whenever I talk about the movie version or the book version. But I feel, which one do I prefer? Honestly, I think the comic seems a lot more grounded than the movie, since the movie was put into 2 parts. But I see why it was put into 2 parts, because this is a long story. But it went by super fast because of how good it is. But Batman does try to investigate who the killer might be. He thinks it's Calendar Man, who in this, he's more portrayed as someone psychological, who's in Arkham. He has all the calendar stuff all over his wall, guessing which day, predicting the future almost. But Calendar Man's more portrayed as goofy back in the comics, but in this book, I think this is probably the first time he was more portrayed as someone more different than just a dude who's obsessed with the calendars. But I think what happens on New Year's is the Falcone's son, he ends up getting shot, and we think he's dead. So here's a big spoiler. So if you don't know, in the movie, he actually dies by the holiday killer. and he doesn't come back. But in this book, he's revealed to be the holiday killer. One of them. There's actually two of them in this book, which I'll reveal a little bit later. But the main thing that goes on is Harvey Dent. He is now getting targeted because of his lawyer business with the Falcones. He's trying to get Falcone arrested and all his other family members. But the main thing that happens that shocks everybody is during court, we see the birth of Two-Face, who gets splashed in the face with acid, and it causes Harvey to be in a lot of pain. He's taken to the hospital, but he escapes to meet up with Solomon Grundy. This did happen in the movie, where Two-Face decides to rally all the Batman villains to take out the Falcones, and we get this very iconic shot of all the Batman villains, almost all of them. We see Catwoman, Ivy, Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, Joker, Solomon, and just a Penguin, just all of them gathered together. I forgot to also mention, during this, Batman ends up getting brainwashed by Ivy, who apparently was hired by Falcone to cause conflict for everyone to think that Batman, Bruce Wayne, was behind the holiday killer's actions. But Jim and Harvey investigating him before he became Two-Face. But I think Bruce does get cleared charges, but he gets mind controlled by Ivy to sign all the checks and hang out with Ivy as the girlfriend. And we actually, in the movie, we see the visions Bruce has of him being with Ivy. It's actually meant to be like a fantasy this whole time. But when Bruce does break out of the control with the help of Catwoman, the two sort of have a team up, but not really. But in the movie, they do. But it all leads to the finale, where Harvey ends up, after everything that goes on, Falcone ends up, I think, getting murdered. And he's the final man who gets murdered on the Long Halloween. He even calls it the Long Halloween. But Harvey decides to turn himself in after getting his revenge on Falcone. And he's sent to the asylum. But Batman could never find the other holiday killer. But in the movie, he does find out. In the book and the movie, it's revealed to be Gilda Dent, who was behind all these murders. We actually see the murders happen on February, March, like Independence Day, April Fool's Day. I'm going out of order with the holidays, but in the movie, they kind of just skip over it. Just we get one brief scene, but yeah, it's revealed to be Gilda Dent, who was apparently, who used to be buddies with the Falcone family, but apparently she wanted to cover her tracks, so she murdered all of the rest of them after it was revealed that Alberto, I think, revealed himself to be the holiday killer, and with the help of Batman and Jim Gordon, they were able to take him down. But I think Gilda just covers her tracks, and that's basically the Long Halloween. It's basically like a really good story with Batman trying to track down this killer, and such great artwork by the writers in this book. Like, you could just, every panel just looks like a painting, honestly. Just, it has its own unique art style that really works. And there is a sequel to this. Maybe I'll check that out in the future. There's a bunch of comics I'm still reading currently. But check out the Batman The Long Halloween. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Easily one of the best Batman stories of all time. I could have reviewed a Superman comic, but I feel like doing Batman. So the next comic review, I have no idea what it's going to be. It'll be fun. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.